What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our image editor, and today's topic is trying to make improvements to the way that we context switch between elements. And I think that it will be easier to explain what that means if we kind of demo the image editor really quick. So, this is our image editor. The idea behind him is that he is based off of a few core concepts. One is that things that happen in the image editor are generally applied by user editable shaders. So, for example, in here, I can create a new shader that generates a circle. The parameters for this shader are automatically detected and like presented in UI. So I can go in here and I can create a red circle, right? Wonderful. Another thing is that images are objects, and these objects are composable or like be able to be stitched into some sort of like graph of things, right? So say we wanted to take this circle, right? And we wanted to use it to kind of mask off part of this image of Cersei Lannister. We could take our like mask multiplication shader, we could put Cersei as an input and our circle as another input, and now we have some sort of like view into this thing, right? Now where this gets a little tricky is when we start trying to do anything complex, it starts to become kind of difficult to manage this like object list. So like say we want to cut out Cersei Lannister and hand her a Slurpee and sit her on a banister so we can call her Slurpee Bannister, right? We'll kind of like cut her out a little bit. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This generates like a mask object that's passed into like a mask multiplication shader, which we then want to add to this composition. So I guess it is this one probably, right? And then we want to do the same thing for a Slurpee. So we create a Slurpee path. We cut out the Slurpee, right? Something like this. We're not being too precise. And then maybe we want to like color match the Slurpee a little bit. So we want to like put the Slurpee in here, and we kind of want to make it like tinted the right color. So we probably want to go like actually not use the masked object, take the masked object, pass it into like our tint shader, and like use the masked object as an input and like tint it a little bit orange, like maybe not all the way orange, maybe just like a little bit. And then we want to like see how that looks in like the composition view. So that's here. And then we like click this back over here. And like you can already tell like trying to manage all of this state is like not really super straightforward. Now that I'm in this and I want to go back and I want to change the tint, I'm like, oh, which one of these like 50 things in the object list is like the one I want? And so what I'm thinking is we've kind of tried to mitigate this a little bit by allowing these things to be renamed, right? So at least I can say this is a tinted Slurpee, and then I can go back here and I can go look at the tinted Slurpee and change its parameters. What would be nicer is if I didn't have to give these things names at all, and instead I could work with them visually. And so that's what I want to experiment with today, is just to see if we tried to do some sort of workflow like that, how usable that would be versus like object lists like this. So what I'm thinking is we will have like a drawer available to us of all objects, right? So like if this is like the screen, we can like press a button and basically have like little thumbnails of each of the images like drawn in the bottom of the screen here. And then if I want to like add something to the composition, instead of like going to this drop down and trying to like figure out which object I want to add, if I want to like add this picture, instead I would like be able to drag from the drawer and drop into the composition. And I think that would be very nice. And then I also think that in this case, say that we are trying to figure out like we have like multiple masks, right? We have the Slurpee mask, we have the Cersei Lannister cutout mask, we have this like where is it? The circle mask somewhere in here. This one, right? It would be nice if we could like drag from the drawer and like put into one of these like shader input parameters and maybe like visualize what is in these slots right now, and then we could like easily replace them with something else, and probably that would give us some sort of like clean understanding of like what we're doing visually. Eventually this can be used as a stepping stone too for trying to draw some sort of like dependency graph, right? This composition depends on 1, 2, 3 elements, and this Slurpee element depends on this tint shader, which depends on this mask object, which depends on this mask, which depends on this path, and then this mask object depends on the original Slurpee image, right? If we have an ability to like render small thumbnails of things and like put them places, we could probably start building out like a dependency graph, and then we could probably navigate that dependency graph a little better. So that's kind of like the idea of where this is all going. But I think that today's goal is just going to try to get the object list in the drawer, and then replace this like object selection with the stuff in the drawer. If that goes like really smoothly and quickly, then we can start doing like drag stuff for composition and then like shader inputs. But we'll see how far we get. We'll see how far we get. And so plan of action is, let's start by making some sort of drawer concept. I think I just want like the drawer to be shown when I hold the tilde key or something. Maybe that's stupid, maybe that's bad UX, but it feels kind of reasonable to me right now. And then once we get there, we can like start rendering thumbnails and stick them in the drawer, and then try to select objects through by clicking on stuff in the drawer, and then work on drag stuff. We'll see how far we get though. We'll see how far we get. All right, what state are we in? We are at the tippy top. We have a clean-ish environment to work in, so I think that we're just gonna start moving and grooving. So somewhere we're gonna click the tilde key, and that's probably gonna end up in like our application class in our input state handler. I think that that's a thing that we have, input state. So I think this is where like all of our key presses go. We say like, when a key is pressed, depending on like what we're looking at, we might behave differently. And I think that we're just gonna kind of say, okay, if the key is the tilde key, well, first of all, let's just see if we get the tilde key. I'm not really sure that we do. So let's say got key, what comes in here, a U8, so I guess character. And let's start there and just zig build and run this thing. And let's just see if I run this and I click the tilde key, if that log shows up. So I go here, DDD, nothing happens when I press the tilde, so that's not good. So that's probably some sort of like conversion between window manager events and like application events. So where do we set key? Here we go. We say if key is between 0 and Z, then we convert that, sure. Where, like, what is the value of like GLFW key, like tilde? No, backtick? Tick? I guess we can log what keys we get in GLFW land, and then we can convert that way. So can we just say std debug print got GLFW key this, and then we can figure it out from there. So this is from key, and what is key here? He is a key. There we go. Let's see what we get. It's 96. 96. Okay. 96 here. Grave accent. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. And then do we get the same thing if we hold shift and we click it? 96, 96. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. So, else if key is equal to GLFWB, GLFW key grave accent. It's a crazy name for that, but okay. We will set key down with this. Else, do we want to log unconditionally? Probably not. That's gonna get really annoying really fast. Okay. So I go back over here and key down here. We should say if key is equal to tilde. Here we basically want to set drawer open to true, probably, right? And probably we want to say do something on key up as well, which I don't know if we have, right? Because I'm kind of thinking that while I hold it, the drawer should be open. But what's probably easier for now is just to invert the state. That's probably easier. Okay. So then we're gonna have some sort of drawer open thing. And maybe we should call this maybe like object drawer open. I don't like the idea that drawer and drawer sound like are spelt the same. Is that true? Drawer. That sure is drawers, huh? So, fine. It's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. Okay. So we have this like concept now of object drawer open. Does that build? It does. And then I guess like on every frame, we probably just call like a global app render. And here we're gonna say like if drawer input state drawer open, we're gonna have to like render that thing. Right? Do we think that this should live anywhere different than like the existing renderer? The existing renderer's job is to render a scene-ish of like the top level object, right? So we might have like we have some sort of like tree of dependencies, and the renderer's job is to like spit that out to the screen. So I guess this feels like maybe a little different. However, there will be some overlap, right? Here, eventually, when we're going to render thumbnails for each object in the drawer, we are basically going to have to call this for every object. But I think that that's fine. I think I kind of want a separation here because this renderer class is getting like a little out of hand. So maybe we'll do something like, where the fuck is our renderer? Here. Drawer renderer is going to be a drawer renderer. Okay. And we'll probably import that thing. Do we think that he needs any state? Surely he is, right? He's going to have some sort of like GLSL program that he has to run at the very least. So we will call him a class. But we might decide later that you know, we've changed our mind. And can we just be like, for now, if we do this, does everything just kind of still compile? He's mad that he doesn't have a render. And he's also mad that it's a object drawer instead of a drawer renderer. Okay, so now he's just mad that there's no field renderer, which makes sense. So here we can go like pub function render self takes in a drawer renderer. And we say that that thing is this. Boom. All right. And for now, we discard our input and well, blam! Everything is still compiling. We are so chilling. You could use Bjork Nuz to avoid name collisions. What are we talking about? You could use this to avoid name collisions. Oh, is that like another word for render or something? Maybe I need to look up what this word actually means. It's not just like random. Oh, because I because from the IKEA thing. That's so funny. I missed that. Oh, that's so funny. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad I looked it up. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So what are we gonna do here? I guess we are gonna kind of like unconditionally like fill some segment of the screen with the drawer. I'm sure that at some point we're gonna want to be able to interact with this thing, which means we're gonna have to like track input. But maybe for now we just specify the bounds of where we want this thing to draw. So maybe we just say like draw this thing from 0 to the window width an X and 0, or maybe like the self view state window height times 3/2. Is that right? If I want 2/3 in? No. Times 2 divided by 3. Of course. To self view state window height. Right? Maybe we say fill that segment of the screen with a drawer. Which means that this guy's gonna have to do some sort of like OpenGL stuff. So like what kind of like OpenGL stuff do we have right now? This stuff is all related to like drawing things. This is related to drawing things. But I think like what I'm really looking for is like use of GL viewport. Yeah, what happens if I just call like GL viewport and then clear with those parameters? Right, if we just do this, which means that we probably want like a common GL like thing. Right now, this GL is just coming from import gl.zig, so we can do the same thing in our drawer renderer. What is in gl.zig? Oh, sure. That makes sense. And this is going to be now going from like, is GL viewport supposed to be from the bottom left? I guess it kind of is, huh? So we probably want like something that's like, bottom left, bottom right. This is bottom left, X, bottom. I guess this is just actually just left, bottom, right, top. I guess that's kind of what we're doing here, right? Are those the parameters of GL viewport? I don't actually know. I think it is the lower left corner, yeah. Yep. So this is basically going to be like int cast left, int cast bottom, int cast right, int cast top. All right. Seems reasonable to me. So sure. Does that compile? Okay. And if I just go in here and I start like, okay, that's not good. So first of all, drawer open should be false by default. And that GL clear is clearly not respecting the bounds of GL viewport. Is that like a thing that I can... Is that like a thing I have to fix? GL clear outside viewport. Merely offsets the viewport. So how do I clear? Fine. Fine. If that's what you want. If that's what you want. I mean, it's pretty reasonable. I assume that scissor takes the same thing. XY with height. And then here we should fix me restore initial scissor state. But we'll just say, you know, we're not going to get too crazy with it. Okay. Close. Now the drawer is showing up on the top half instead of the bottom half, so we are dumbasses. Because the bottom should be 0, and then the height should be over 3 or something. We want to show it at the bottom corner, you know? Or the bottom of the window. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. And then if we were to like make this green or something instead of that, we could be like GL clear color is red maybe because it's the first thing on the list. Fuck. Whoa. What the fuck? Oh, because probably our other clear, we probably here just don't set the clear color. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That actually explains something that we saw a long time ago. In like another, when we were trying to diagnose clearing the frame buffer, we thought that we were clearing the whole background by mistake, but we weren't. We just were never setting the clear color in our initial renderer. That's pretty funny. All right, cool. Here is our drawer. Here's our drawer. Now, what are we going to put in it? SDL2 renderer? We're using like pretty much raw OpenGL. Pretty much. Okay. So what are we gonna do? I guess here we're probably gonna want to pass in like the normal renderer. And what does like he takes in all sorts of crap. Can we do something that's like, if we want to pass this guy to our new drawer renderer so that he can draw like a thumbnail, we then also have to pass like all of these like parameters, which is like really fucking annoying. I wonder if it makes sense to call like self renderer like make frame renderer and then pass in all of this stuff, right? I've been kind of wanting to do this for a little bit anyway, because then we can do like frame renderer render, and all of the like internal function calls in here will be able to use like how do I say this? Like he won't have to like pass these things all the way around everywhere, which has been annoying already because there's like so much state that he needs. So I wonder if we can do something like this. I think these three are not really like recursively used, but this stuff is. This is kind of all stuff that he needs for to pass around everywhere. So can we do that? So can we do like pub function or pub const frame renderer? And he's just basically gonna hold all of this shit. Maybe he's even gonna hold reference to the renderer. That kind of makes sense. And then this stuff goes away. As a selected object kind of used, I think that's kind of like a top level thing as well. So it's kind of just this. Maybe these get pointers. Kind of seems reasonable. Okay. And then now like our render functions, I think it's like basically these move in here. I don't know. We'll kind of figure it out as we go. So this is going to be like, what used to be this render function is going to be called make frame renderer, which takes in all of this crap. Okay. And returns a frame render. Boom. And then he's going to be like, please make me one of these guys. Boom. Return this. This. Boom, boom. I guess it's going to be like a little Vim macro time. Yank till the colon, jump to the colon, equals paste, delete, comma. Boom. And this is going to be self. Boom. Okay. Which means now, is there any like DNet that has to be done? Probably not. And then I think that there's like stuff that gets kind of passed around on everywhere here, but we can kind of fix this now. So this is now frame renderer. And now he doesn't need this, but he does need this stuff. Okay. Now we can use self alloc here. And I kind of think that the texture cache should probably be long lived as we can hear as well. So this is kind of like, as I render like my tree of objects, sometimes some images or objects need other objects to be like rendered into textures. Like if I'm like stacking shaders, I'm doing like a contrast shader, then a brightness shader. The brightness shader needs a texture as an input that has the contrast applied. So we have like a texture cache that says like, here's kind of like the stuff that we've already rendered this frame. And so if we kind of do this, we're going to kind of probably share like some re-render logic, but like we won't have to re-render stuff in like the thumbnail view and the main view, which is going to be kind of nice, probably. Okay. Here we go. Self.objects get self.objects here. Then he's happy, boom, boom. And then here, a render object with transform. We now take a frame renderer and we kind of ditch anything that is part of our state. Texture cache is also kind of part of our initial state. So then everywhere where we have issues here, we just slap a self in front of it. Okay. Self objects, self alloc. Same with render object with transform, actually. This guy now just doesn't need to take in anything other than next object and next transform. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Okay, this is like this. Resolve uniform. This looks like this is kind of related to the frame render now, because he basically has to render a texture if it's required by this thing. So we kind of like slap this here. Okay, which means that, and then a lot of these things that are passed in here now, object shaders, brushes, texture cache, are kind of gone. Self-render to texture is now also, a lot of these things go away. Yep. Yep. Oh, nice. Nice. All right. Oh, these APIs are getting so much better. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, render object with transform is now just active object and transform. Boom. Okay, now this thing's mad because render object to texture also needs to be part of the frame renderer now. Okay. Which takes in frame renderer and gets rid of a lot of shit. Boom. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. We throw some selfs around. Object with transform now just takes in the object and the transform. Oh my god, this is so much better, dude. It's so much better. Wait. Render object with transform takes in the object. Oh, input? Is input what we're looking for here? Yeah, it is. And the transform. Boom. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So this guy now, render object to texture, is literally just the object, which is pretty sick. Oopsies. Oh god. Plus, 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 plus. Okay. Self dot this. Okay. We're definitely getting somewhere. We're definitely getting somewhere. So resolve uniform now only takes the... He doesn't even need the allocator. He literally just needs the uniform. This is ID. It's literally just this. Okay. And so now this resolve uniform gets this gone. This is binding the input here. What is this? This is a uniform value. Yeah, so it's just this. Okay. Hell yeah. Self shaders get nice. Self objects get nice. Render object with transform takes the object and the transform. Self objects here, self objects here, self objects here, and then render object with transform. Just takes the object and the transform. Boom. Oh, it's so much nicer, dude. Self dot resolve uniform only takes in the uniform value, so it's literally just that. And then brushes is in self. Okay. I don't see any like I don't see like lots of stuff. Object to clip transform. No field named render. Whoa, what's happening here? App.sig 153. What's it complaining about? What the fuck? Oh, I didn't save. That's probably why. Okay, expected 4 arguments, found 5. Why? Because selected object goes in render now, probably. Input state selected object. We have our transform, which is self view state object to clip transform. Is that what it was before? Yeah, it was object to clip transform, and then the window width and the window height. Okay. Okay. So hopefully everything here just kind of works. More likely, we're gonna get like more compilers. So these guys, we want these to be like, like this, and then here we want to throw some ampersands on them. Nice, and then here he's mad about AppSig 159. We expected this, found that, so this needs to be var, although I do kind of expect that everything in this, no, because the texture cache is editable, so this has to be variable. Okay. Object to clip transform is mad because he was used to take an argument. What does he take? This takes in object dims. Okay. What did I do before? I just called self-selected dims. Got it. Then we're mad at no field name background program at 95. Okay, yeah. So now we're back at like, I don't know why this isn't like showing as a problem in like in the editor. It's kind of annoying, but it's fine. No field name program. So anywhere we have like this is like self.renderer. Okay. And no path program, so renderer dot. Oh my gosh, so much to do. Missing field texture cache at 233. True. Init with alloc and objects. Okay, and then that kind of indicates that this thing needs like a D init on him. Right? To like clear out anything that he put into the texture cache. Nice. Okay. Which means that in app zig, when we make our frame render, we need to defer frame render texture cache dnit. Okay. Sorry, just dnit here. Okay, and then we don't need this texture cache anymore. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Holy shit, it builds? Wait, that's kind of sick. Wow, it still works too. Also kind of sick. Wow, I actually kind of wasn't expecting everything to still work, to be honest. That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Okay. So now we have like a frame renderer, which is pretty sick because let's do a little git add -u, git checkout branch whip, git commit, whip to git commit -m, whip frame renderer smile. Okay. So now we have this frame renderer, which is sick because we can pass that to our drawer renderer now, right? So here we can be like, give me that frame renderer, please. Frame renderer. And I don't know what we're gonna do here. Let's maybe start by maybe just try to render any object to a thumbnail and display it in our little drawer. So I guess that kind of indicates that we have no state here. It's all gonna live in the frame renderer likely, but okay, so say we like render this thing somewhere, right? This is gonna have to go into some texture, and that texture will have to be displayed somewhere. So maybe we just start by letting it fill up the entire fucking screen. That seems reasonable, right? So we can just say, what? We have some object and we want it to fill our drawer. So our drawer, that means that we have to take some object that lives in like its coordinate space -1 to 1, 1 to 1, and that has to get kind of like mapped into our coordinate space. Oh, but we've already got that with the viewport, so we're chilling. The viewport transform kind of covers that for us. So we literally just have to write like frame renderer render. Let's like render the selected object again or something. Well, maybe we'll pass in objects here. Which means that we need like const obj mod is equal to import object zig, and this needs to be like obj mod dot objects. Okay, and then here we can be like, give me the first object. Obj IDs is going to be like objects ID iter, and then we say wow obj IDs next. We have, or maybe we just say first. Yeah. Obj IDs next, or else return, and then we render that first ID. With the transform identity, where does transform come from? Probably linear algebra. Probably. Yep. And then with the window width and height. So what does it use those for? He sets the viewport by using those. So we kind of don't want this stuff. Which is kind of strange. Right? Like this stuff is kind of like, we want like all of this to live somewhere else. Maybe even this stuff. Maybe we just call render object with transform. Maybe we just do that. Because then we can call like objects get first. Let's see what happens if we do that. Fuck. That's true that when we call our draw renderer, wherever the fuck we do that in AppZig, we need to pass in the frame renderer now. Okay, and then he expects more. Left, bottom, right, top, frame renderer, and objects. That's true. Fine, if we're gonna be like that, fuck. Error unit is ignored. Which means that this can fail, probably. Which means that here we need to write this, and then here we need to write try. Alright, if you say so. Fuck! Error unit is ignored. Am I stupid? I didn't save. It's hard life. It's a hard life. Okay, so now I press this. Oh, that's pretty good. So now unconditionally, we're getting one thing kind of covering the screen here. Now, that's obviously not what we want, right? But that that's starting to look pretty good. So if we want to render these as like a thumbnail in here, I guess we just kind of like we want to keep the aspect ratio corrected, which exists somewhere. How does this like transform get calculated? This transform is just passed in. Where does this come from? This comes from view state object to clip transform, which does a bunch of like zooming and stuff, but really we just want the aspect ratio corrected fill here. That's kind of all we want. So that's going to live in here. We're going to say, give me some chords, please. And we're going to have to get the object dimensions true. So here it's going to be like this. We're going to say const object dims is obj dims using the object list. I think that we can pass that in. And then now we have the width and the height. So this is not going to be this is going to be like our width and height. So we're going to say like drawer width is equal to right minus left, and drawer height is going to be top minus bottom. Yep. And then we can use drawer width and drawer height here. Hell yeah, dude. And then we use this aspect transform here. And then I think that gives us something that she should like show up in the drawer, but without being like fucked up looking. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Look at that. Look at that. So now, no matter how we drag it, she's filling it up. Okay, so what are we gonna want to do now in terms of like displaying as thumbnails? Probably we want like every thumbnail to have like a constant size, right? Like hand wavy. We kind of want like What color works it? Whoa, what did I just do? Did you guys know you could drag these things around? What the fuck? Why would I want this? Oh, that's bad. And now I'm just like fucking it up even more. Oh god. Okay. Let's draw here. So I kind of probably want like something that looks like this, right? Like where we kind of like have each object maybe with like some border, probably not that much probably. Like we probably want to we probably want to take up as much space as we can in this thing. While still looking like a distinct object thing. And I think that probably we could size these things so that they kind of like match the aspect ratio of the item that we have, right? But then like you're gonna have problems where if you have something really wide, it's gonna take up way too much of the screen, right? So I kind of feel like kind of forcing a like 1x1 here or a 16:9. Probably 1x1 though, because I think our aspect ratio correction is designed to work 1x1. So maybe we'll just kind of like put a bunch of 1x1 objects like this, and then like show the object inside, right? So she's gonna be kind of like sit like, you know, like this. Like this, you know? This is Cersei Lannister. With a fucking fade haircut. Okay. So I guess that kind of means that we're gonna want like I don't know. We're gonna want like some sort of transform to position within the drawer, right? And I guess like our like coordinate space is like -1, 1 to 1, 1 in the drawer, right? So our transform is literally going to be like a slight scale vertically, some sort of like movement horizontally. Let me think for a second. I think it's actually that we want to put this in like a certain sized thing. So we're gonna assume that we're always drawing into a 1x1. I think. Fuck the drawer. Let me think. So we have some object. If we put in this aspect ratio thing, I guess it's like a double. There's some sort of like double transformation happening. So what is that? We start with something like big. We start with a big thing. Womp womp. This we want to transform into. Sorry, I'm thinking. I have to think about how we get it over here. So I think that there's kind of like the view space of this object. Like each thumbnail is going to be a like 1x1 square, or like at least like 1-to-1 aspect ratio square. So we're gonna render this into that, and then we're gonna have like another transform that positions this within the thing. So we're gonna be like obj to thumbnail, thumb, and then thumb to viewport. Those are our two transformations. I think that makes sense. So we're gonna have like obj to thumb nail transform. And that's probably something that looks like this, right? We're taking the input object and we're just scaling the aspect ratio so that it fits within a 1x1 object, like a aspect ratio 1 object. Then we have the thumbnail to viewport to drawer, right? And this is going to be we need to do aspect ratio correction, I think. So we'll start here, 100 to 100 to drawer width, drawer height. And then this is then going to be, we're going to do this, then, is then a thing we can do here? I thought it was. Transform has a then. Yeah, it does. I don't know why it's auto-completing. So we're going to do this, then, a translation, right? So we're going to say like each thumbnail is going to start somewhere, right? So he's going to be like, we are gonna have like a constant like thumbnail width, right? Which is going to be, I guess if we're doing 1 by 1, it's probably going to be defined by height more than anything, right? And this is going to be the drawer height minus, like maybe like times 0.9 or something, right? So if we're doing integer math, that's times 9 over 10. The thumbnail width is just going to be the same. Okay. Thumbnail width is just the thumbnail height. Okay. And then here, ever we're doing 100 by 100, we just say thumbnail width, thumbnail height. Just for consistency. Okay. Now, we are going to want to scale this thing to make it to that height, right? So we're going to say, can we do like lin transform scale, and we're going to scale this thing I guess by height. So we're going to say like thumbnail. Well, actually, before we do this, let's just see if this works. But let's not get too crazy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? So here, we're going to call render this thing. We're going to do ob to thumbnail transform, then thumbnail to drawer transform. Thumbnail to drawer transform. So what we're hoping to see is that, I don't know, it just doesn't look like shit. Okay, yeah, nice. Nice, okay. Now say that in our thumbnail to drawer transform, we do like a transform translate by like negative 0.5 in x, right? We should see like her kind of scooch over to the left. Which we do. We see her kind of over on the left side now, which is kind of exactly what I wanted. Okay, now we want to like maybe scale this thing first. Right, so we're gonna want to scale this by I don't know. It's like thumbnail height in floating point is a float from int of thumbnail height, and then the drawer height as a float is going to be the drawer height. And then we want to scale this thing by the height ratio. Right, so we want to go thumbnail height out of drawer height. Which we kind of just have here. So I don't know why we're doing this. Well, this is the thumbnail height in pixels. So here we can do this. Thumbnail height ratio is equal to 0.9. Or can we do this as like 9 over 10? Oh, it's not easy. Because if we're doing integer math and floating point math, we want this to like kind of both work. So new numerator and denominator will do this. And then we can do thumbnail height numerator over thumbnail height denominator, and then here we can do the same thing here. And then it will automatically kind of figure out what types it needs to resolve to. It looks like we shouldn't split these things, but this will automatically do like float conversion, and this will automatically do int conversion, which is like kind of nice for us. Kind of nice for us. Okay, so now if I build this, we should see, we kind of want to do this twice, I guess. Okay, so we should see her kind of like shrink down a little bit. But instead we see garbage, which kind of sucks. So is it the scale? Does that really break it? I don't really see why it would. Yeah, it does, which is kind of surprising. I would think that this scale, can we do like, if I type like a 0.9 here in both, does that work? And is it that it's doing integer math on those things? Yeah, it is. Okay. So here, if I write, these are comp time floats, I think that that kind of acts a little bit better. But he doesn't like that either. Fuck. I thought it would work. Okay, never mind. So let's do thumbnail height ratio is 0.9, and then here we'll do drawer height f is f32 float from int of drawer height. Then can we do like int from float here? Does this kind of work? I think that'll do it. Then we can use thumbnail height ratio here and here. Okay. Zig build. Fuck. Zig build. All right, so I hit this, and now that is pretty chilling. And then we just need to kind of slide it over. I think 0.9 is actually too small. I kind of want 0.95. Probably feels a little better. Yeah, that feels better to me. Okay, cool. So now we have to like calculate where in the window it should be. Which I don't really know what to do here, but we'll see. So let's start going, let's like start trying to iterate all objects, I guess. While obj ID is next, we have some ID, right? And I guess it is true that the object dimensions are required to do this obj to thumbnail transform, but the thumbnail to drawer transform, I guess we have like the thumbnail to drawer center transform. Or maybe we say like go to the drawer left, and then we can like offset from the left side for each object. That might be kind of nice. So how do we get to the left side of this motherfucker? And how do we make this not look like shit? So we have like thumbnail width over 2 is where we want the first thing to be placed, plus some sort of like padding. Okay, so this is literally just like, no, this is not what we want. We want -1 plus thumbnail width over 2. This is how we get to the left side of the screen. So here, let me think for a second. So we have like this like really fucked up, like really stretched world, right? And we initially place our like 1 by 1 thing here. And this is 0, 0. And so I guess the like distance of this, we kind of want like this distance in like height units, right? So we need to, if the aspect ratio, we need to like calculate the aspect ratio of the drawer width, drawer height, right? And if we want to go like 5 times our height this way, right? 5. Okay. What that means is this needs to be, if our, this is our aspect is like, you know, our aspect ratio here is like 10. So if we want to go 5 times our height over to the side, then we need to divide by the aspect because it needs to get smaller. So here we want to go like translate by negative. We want to translate by -1 plus thumbnail width over 2 divided by the drawer aspect. That feels right to me. That's what my gut says. That's what my gut says. Okay. So this is going to be the left side transform. Right? And then we're going to take that and we're going to go for each element. We're going to go over to the right by some amount. Right? So this is going to be, I guess, something very similar to this. Right? We're going to go one thumbnail width over plus padding. Right? Divided by the drawer aspect, and we have to multiply all of this by, like, I. I don't know. And then we need some sort of thumbnail pad. Which is gonna be, like... I don't know, 0.1. I don't really know what this number means right now. Yeah, I don't know. Sure. I'm down to try it. So this is thumbnail width over 2 is mad because we need the thumbnail width as a float. Thumbnail width F. And then probably he's going to be bad at I. Oh, here, it's actually here as well. We need thumbnail width F, like this. Then expected 2 arguments, found 1, true. We want 0 offset in Y. Okay, and then I is also, we need like float from int of I. Boom. All right. Fuck. Okay, so let's start by not doing this part. So here we'll literally just kind of try to put it on the left side. With, I wish I could disable this like unused fucking variable warning. So this isn't working either, which isn't good. Which means that this translation is probably fucked if we just kind of take out this translation. And then comment these out for a second. Are we good again? Yeah, okay, so here we have put our thing in the center. So our translation was calculated incorrectly. So let's just start with -1. I believe a -1 should give us half the thing poking off the left side. Which is good, right? We see a little like half of an image over here. So it must have been whatever our plus here was wrong. So our drawer aspect should be pretty high. Can we like log this? Offset. All right, let's just kind of see how bad we're fucking this up. Because we're clearly fucking it up, right? No stood. We're clearly fucking it up. Yeah, 28? That's crazy. Oh. We're supposed to be using the width of the thing in, not in pixels. That's the problem. Thumbnail width. I guess thumbnail height ratio here is reasonable. But that's kind of the wrong variable. But it's fine. There we go. Okay. So this should be That's still kind of wrong. Is there no divided by 2 here? That might be right. I can't tell. I think we want, like, thumbnail width relative to the height. And this just happens to be the same. But then, like, where does this come from? Is this even used anywhere? This is, like, in pixels. Is this used anywhere? No. So I guess it's kind of like thumbnail width rel height is equal to rel drawer height is equal to thumbnail height ratio, and we'll just say fix me calculate. But whatever, this is fine. That means that now we can start using that in here. Plus thumbnail 1 plus thumbnail width relative drawer height. I think that this is times 2. And that makes this over 2. That makes more sense. Yes. Yes. Okay, so now for each of these guys, when we slide them over, it's literally like thumbnail width relative to the drawer height plus a thumbnail pad times the number of elements we've drawn. Fuck. I think that's right. Oh, tell me that's not sick. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I almost feel like the drawer should be like almost like a constant size. I'm not really sure. What graphics API are you using? Just OpenGL. Just OpenGL. I think that we probably want some sort of like background to these things. And then I think that the first guy should be offset by the pad as well. Okay. Hit this. Okay. And then probably if I scroll on the drawer, I probably want to like scroll here a little bit. And yeah, I think we definitely need an outline here. So how do we do that? We could like render a plane there, or we could do a scissor clear. I feel like rendering a plane is probably the right way to go. Because then we can kind of choose to, if we render a plane, then we can use a fragment shader to give like the thumbnail a little bit of a border if we want. Yeah, sure. And then we probably also will want to show the selected one as well with like a different border color or something. So that kind of works out. How's the experience of using OpenGL outside from Zig? I'm not sure about moving away from C++. Do you mean using OpenGL from Zig? OpenGL from Zig is fine. It's like really not problematic at all. Yeah, you literally just type like this, right? Using C import gl.h, and then you're just like fucking chilling. You just need to like prefix stuff with gl dot, but there's no like, the C interop with Zig is very good. So as long as you don't have like bit fields and stuff, then it starts to get a little bit complex. But this is, yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. This should be calculate. I'm gonna forget this. Calculate this according to previous vars. If I change thumbnail width in the above line, this relative ratio size should also change. There we go. No guarantee that we will always want 1 by 1. There we go. Okay. So I guess, yeah, let's give it a little outline. So I guess we kind of did this. And I guess we kind of did this at some point too. So this is at 104, 55. We kind of did this. And then let's do highlight selected thumbnail, we'll call it. Yeah, so I think that we're gonna use like plain render program, which is public, and we're just gonna give it a custom fragment shader. Probably the vertex shader is the same. What does their like vertex shader do? We can apply any arbitrary transform to a plane. So this is literally just like give me the UV coordinates after the fragment shader and apply some sort of like 2D transformation. Sure, yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So if we are in the, what did we call this shit? I already forgot. Drawer renderer. We're gonna have some sort of like thumbnail fragment shader. I guess kind of all of this stuff was fucking stupid now. Maybe not. Right? I kind of feel like now using, like, passing in the underlying texture as the input image just makes a lot of sense. Like, a lot of sense. Then we can just kind of, like, do whatever the fuck we want here. So we can say, like, no, it doesn't. Never mind. I've changed my mind. Because, like, the UV coordinates of this thing get, like, kind of fucked up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. For now, let's just draw a plane behind it, and we can figure it out later. So we're gonna have some sort of program here, which is gonna come from renderer plane render program, and we can put like a little fix me here and say like maybe plane render program should live somewhere common. That would make sense. I guess we're gonna have to have some sort of like initialization function here. And he's gonna return a drawer renderer. And it's probably failable. And we're gonna call like renderer plane render program dot init with an allocator. Okay, I guess we need an allocator. It's kind of surprising, to be honest. I don't really know what it's for. And we'll put a fix me on here that says like maybe we render the image as part of the thumbnail program. There's like a very real possibility that we want to do it that way. Okay, so this has, yeah. Why does this thing need an allocator? Oh, to list the uniforms. Sure. That makes sense. Okay, then we have like our vertex shader, which is gonna come from renderer plane vertex shader, and then we're gonna use our thumbnail fragment shader. And in here, let's just start by doing something stupid, like saying the color is white. We'll start there and see what fucking happens. Is this thing failable? Surely, right? Yeah, try. And then we return program is with program. Cool. Which means in our app, instead of our drawer renderer kind of just getting default initialized, we do need to intentionally initialize it. So we're going to say var drawer renderer init var drawer renderer, god damn it. Drawer renderer is equal to drawer renderer init with our allocator, which kind of indicates that we need some sort of error defer. Right? Which means that this thing needs some sort of dinit, probably passes in the allocator, almost certainly. And he is going to just call like, he's gonna look at himself. And he's gonna be like self program dinit. All right, sure. And I don't really like calling this program. I kind of want this to be like a thumbnail background program. I think that that's kind of more descriptive. Even if there are more characters, it's fine by me. And then here we go, drawer renderer is the drawer renderer. Boom. Okay, which means here we're chilling, and then here now we can start trying to use that program. So, I guess we will first render the background. right? Self dot thumbnail background program render. And I guess it's like literally like no inputs right now, although in the future there might be. And then I assume that we need to pass the thumbnail to drawer transform here. I assume that that will do what I want. Fuck. AppZig63 is pissed off probably because I didn't write try here like a dumbass. Okay. He's mad because no function with name Vec. What the fuck am I doing? True. Vec4, please. Please, sir. Vec4. Okay. So now when I do this, okay. So that does get me my little white border here, which is pretty sick. And then I think I want this to be a little bit oversized, right? Because I want like a little bit of border around her. So how do we do that? We go to the drawer renderer, and I guess we have like obj to thumbnail transform needs a little bit of a scale. Yeah. Yeah. So this is like 0.95, 0.95 or something? I don't know. We'll just kind of see how that plays out. Oh, yeah. Tell me that's not fucking sick, dude. Tell me that's not sick. Do we want to checkerboard the inside? Right? Like yeah, I don't really know what I want this to look like. White's clearly wrong, right? We can all be sure about that. Just being white is fucking stupid. But what's not stupid? You know? If I like do this, oh yeah, dude, look at that. Oh yeah, oh look at that. Oh come on, tell me that isn't sick, man. Tell me that's not sick. You can see everything at once. Look at that. That's so slick, actually. Holy. Yeah, white's not the color. We could do checkerboard and then have an outline. Pretty much almost certainly we want an outline no matter what, right? So, in here, let's say that bool in outline is if the UVX is what? We want like, is there like some sort of like tricky math we can do to get this easily? Right? We have like everything in here, right? So we can do distance from center is greater than some value. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Vec 2, 0.5, 0.5, minus UV. And then we just say this is Vec 2 center offs. Right? And then we say, can we do like abs of this? And then this is in outline is center offs x is greater than 0.5 or center offs dot y is greater than 0.5. Probably like this. Let me say like if not in outline, discard. Else draw a little white border. Fuck. These numbers are too small. 4. Okay. Yeah, so here you can see the effect of this here. We probably want this to be, say, like significantly smaller or larger. So if I want to do like something like this. which looks pretty good. I think that we actually have to go even 475 seems to be the correct answer. Because we have 0.95 height over 2. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so then let's highlight the selected object. So here we'll say selected, right? And then we have to somehow extract that thing from here. So how does this like reserved uniforms thing work? We're gonna have to fix this later. But because like our reserve, we're supposed to have reserved uniforms that say like these are inputs that will be provided by the program, and then we have like normal uniforms that are like provided by user through UI. But the reserved uniforms like need to be able to be kind of like overridden depending on which fragment shader was passed in, which we don't support right now. So I think that we're just gonna cheat. You can like specify like uniform locations, right? Uniform layout OpenGL. I'm pretty sure that you can layout qualifier. So if we just say like layout location equals on uniform, does it work on uniforms? Wait, it does. It does. I saw it somewhere. Where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. Here? No. Here. Binding equals. So here, if I just say like, what's at the beginning? It's like layout binding equals 0. That makes it so that I can just pass this in. This is like a hack. Should find based off program inputs, etc. Like whatever. So if we do that, then we can be like, float. We don't support Boolean inputs, I guess, right now. Oops. Okay. So we need to support Booleans, I guess, which will come from, I don't know. This thing needs to have like a uniform value that so a uniform type, bool here, which I presume is GL bool. We're gonna come back to this if it doesn't work. This is suspect because I didn't look it up. But you know, we live, we learn. And what we would learn is that we're fucking stupid. Switch must handle all possibilities at main. Big 510. I guess we'll put unreachable for now because I don't want to deal with that. The UI shit doesn't matter yet. And then renderer Zig 457 needs to be able to figure out how to pass in a bool to a uniform. I guess it's kind of just, I guess this is all stupid because we already supported ints. So let's just do it that way. That seems way better. Because I think that there isn't even like a real bool type. I'm pretty sure it just like turns into an int anyway. So we can just be like, var color is equal to if selected vec for 0.0, 1.0, or let's do like blue, maybe a little bit of cyan. Maybe? How do you do cyan? Like this? I don't remember. And this isn't like this. It's selected with a little question mark. Otherwise, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0. I don't fucking know, man. Oh, fragment. All right, sure. And then here we just have to set the uniform to selected if this is the selected ID. So I guess here we need to pass in selected ID is an mod object ID. And then here we say const selected is equal to selected id.value is equal to, oh, id value. Wow. Wow. And then here we need to say like, if this, 1 else 0. There we go. Is the title still supposed to say it's happy hour? God damn it, every time, man. No, it is not. It is not happy hour. We are not happy. No happy hours allowed. There we go. Thank you. Much appreciated. Which means in appzig, we need to pass in the selected ID here. Okay. And then does this build? Fuck, never builds. Unused local constant. Fine. That's not true. We use it right here. Am I stupid? We didn't save, so that would do it. No field name bool, true. We did just undo that change, which I will take. And then else value with comp time only type depends on runtime control flow. Oh, interesting. That's kind of fun. I didn't know about this one. What's our int type here? It's i32. Okay, sure. Bing, bang, boom. Fuck. This is not allowed. This layout binding thing. Whatever. Whatever. Fuck it. We'll just we ball. We'll just kind of condition of this must be scalar boolean. Selected is not equal to 0. Little whiner, that guy. All right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that little blue border. It's a little too blue though. What color is cyan in RGB? This is oh, really max green? That's kind of surprising. Okay. Okay, drawer. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then can we make the background like fuck this like red shit? Can we make it like kind of like grayish? I don't know, 0.3 seems fine by me. Eventually we're gonna need some sort of like theming object that gets passed around, but for now, that's fine. Sure, yeah, fuck it. I don't know, it seems not that bad. And then, I don't know, what happens if I like add a composition here? What happens if I like create a composition and then like add Cersei Lannister over here? We are gonna have to scissor this thing because I can't just drag her anywhere, which is kind of funny. Which I guess isn't like that wrong, right? Like from the perspective of this object, she is kind of like way the fuck over here. But we'll deal with that later. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so I guess the next thing I want to do is make it so that I can like click on these. So how does that work? We basically need to somewhere needs to own the logic of like thumbnail location transform. Right, so it kind of needs to like pull let's say we're kind of at this now. 01 24 10. Surfari, do you use that task management file system? No. I solved the problem by just planning less. Easy fix. Though, like, I think that when I started working on that file manager task program, I was kind of trying to figure out how to relieve pressure for what I'm going to do the next day. And I kind of fixed that problem for myself with happy hour. Happy hour just solves the problem. Because now if I have a day where I'm like, I kind of have like small things to do, but I don't really know how to structure them and put them into a YouTube video, I just don't make a YouTube video. And that just solves the problem. So I don't use it. But I wish I did. It's kind of cool. It was like a cool concept. Okay. So I guess we'll just continue calling this thing drawer renderer. But like use him as like input state handling as well. Or maybe we'll just ask him to like, well, maybe make a function. That's like, I don't know, obj to drawer transform. But what do we actually want? We actually kind of want like object to, or we kind of want like, we want so that when we click on a thing in the bottom, in this like viewport down here, we want which object we clicked on, right? And I guess the input to that is going to be some sort of like window chord, right? And we want some sort of transformation that goes from window coordinate to object ID, which means what? Basically, we need like this transform that goes thumbnail to drawer transform for a given item. Yeah, so we go like thumbnail to drawer and then drawer to window. Probably. Thumbnail to drawer, drawer to window. And then we can take the inverse of that. So this has objects spaced in some sort of like height ratioed, kind of tied to the height. Hand wavy. We have like rules for how we want to space these things within this chunk of the window. So let's just start. We can just start with figuring out which object we've clicked on. We'll ignore window coordinates. Fuck that shit. It's just like given a drawer position, what do we click on? Which is, you could apply the transformation for every object index and see where it is, but that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. We should be able to exactly calculate which object we have if we know the spacings, right? So we know that we're applying this scale. We don't even care about object thumbnail transform. This doesn't matter at all. We only care about this transform, which is based off of the translation per thing plus the initial transform. Yes. Okay. If you have too many thumbnails, you're going to need to scroll. Might need an offset. Yeah. True. Eventually, we will need that. So we have this to get us to the first object location. Yes. And then we have this to get us the offset between. So it might be easiest to find the bounds of this. Yeah. I think that's probably the easiest. So we'll start by saying, give me the thumbnail to drawer left to thumbnail to drawer first thumbnail to drawer transform. Yeah. Yeah. And then where we use is this like first thumbnail to drawer transform. And then we can like say, I don't know, first thumbnail to drawer transform is literally just going to be like this, which is going to have to take in some inputs, which we will figure out in a second. So this is going to take in the thumbnail width and thumbnail height, which are in this actually doesn't really care about this. It only cares about the aspects. So maybe we kind of just use this aspects to corrected transform. And here we'll take in like 1.0 for the thumbnail aspect ratio, which I guess we will kind of put somewhere. Which means that this is times thumbnail aspect ratio. Float or int from float, something like this. So this is probably like this, probably. Okay, so then we just pass thumbnail aspect ratio here. And then here we're gonna have to take in drawer width and drawer height, I guess. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Okay, so this takes in the drawer width like this. Then do I want this thumbnail height ratio? We do. Yeah, we do. So that thumbnail right height ratio also has to come out here. Okay. Then the thumbnail pad also comes out. Sure, fuck it. Okay, so this and thumbnail width rel drawer height. Yeah, that seems reasonable. That can also come out. Drawer aspect here. So we need to calculate that here. Const drawer aspect is equal to this, which means we can use drawer aspect here. And then we return this thing. Which means that, is this even used? Maybe not. So then we can replace all of this with thumbnail, what do we call it? First thumbnail to drawer transform. Drawer width, drawer height. Okay. First thumbnail to drawer transform is all this. So let's just start by making sure that nothing broke when we do that. Fuck, it never works. What's it piss about? 82. Yeah, sure. Const thumbnail height f is equal to this, and then this is thumbnail height f, and then this is with an f here. All right, does this still looks like we're still chilling down here? That looks kind of reasonably correct to me. Which means that now we can do something that's like this we want to kind of extract out. So this is the thumbnail width relative drawer height. That's constant. This is constant. This is not constant, and this is not constant. So here we want to do like thumbnail offset. Thumbnail x offset. And we'll give it an index. Okay. And a drawer width and drawer height, okay? This gives us a floating point number. And that's literally just this. Okay. And here we need a const idxf is a float32 float from int of idx, and that goes here. Okay. And here we need the drawer aspect again, which we can just calculate easily. So, okay. Which means that down here we can call thumbnail x offset given I drawer width and drawer height. Which means this goes away and probably this goes away. Nice. Okay, let's see if that all still works. Okay, that looks good too. Which means now we should be able to easily calculate which object index was selected based off our drawer coordinate. Okay, so here, let's not make these public yet. So we can do function drawer to object index. Drawer to thumbnail index. Drawer pause to thumbnail index. So he will take in some sort of like x and y values, right? Maybe even a vec2. Maybe even a vec2. Okay. And he's going to return a usize. So here we're going to be like, get me that fucking first thumbnail to thumbnail to drawer transform. We need the drawer width and height here, I guess. I don't know. We can say, let's take our initial position and pass that through that transform. So here we want like -1. We want to pass in like a vec3, I guess, of like -1, -1, 1.0. This will tell us the bottom left side of the thumbnail, and this will tell us the top right side. I think we still need to do like apply homogeneous here. Yep. Okay. Yeah. That's looking pretty good. So now we're going to say if pause is less than bl.y or pause is greater than tr.y, we didn't click on anything. Okay. Otherwise, we say, give us the offset. Yep. And I think we actually want this thing to not multiply the index here. So here we want this to be multiplied by this. So we want like a x offs is this. Single x offs is like this. And then x, maybe we do this. F32, make it variable. and then do x offs times equals idxf. Or even int from float of I. And then we can do x offs here. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, so now we have like our single x offset is equal to this, right? And what is the formula we're trying to solve for now? We want like something, we have like our left side. Well, let's draw it. So we have like this, and we've clicked here, right? We have like kind of like these like shadow boxes for all the other thumbnails, right? And we were trying to determine if we are in one of these, right? So we have this gap is what we have, and we're basically trying to find out L times we'll call this L here, we'll call this W, and we'll call this P. Okay, so L times X W is equal to P, I guess is what we're looking for, right? Yeah. So then we have so this is literally, or this is supposed to be plus here. So we have X is equal to P minus L over W, and that's gonna tell us how many times we have to jump to get here. Okay. Num jumps is equal to P is our point. Pause X, or pause 0, I guess it should be. I think this is literally 1 here as well. So pause 0 minus bottom left 0 divided by single x offs. Yeah, okay. And I guess this is kind of like I floating point. And then I guess what we want to know is if, like, we need to know for like in the padding area, right? So the padding area is this. So we probably want to know if like IF is greater than thumbnail pad. Yeah. So if we say like mod IF by single x offs is greater than the thumbnail pad, then we have like a fucking problemo. We're in the padding area. Else, we return int cast of IF. Yeah. That seems like maybe right. Right? Does that seem reasonable? I think that seems reasonable. We should probably draw this, huh? So here we have like thumbnail, thumbnail, thumbnail. We have point here P. We have this is the BL0. We have this to here. This is the single x offs. And then we have this is P pause 0. So we say that our we have like BL0 plus I times I guess we need to just specify the width as well. This is the single X offs. This is thumbnail pad. BL plus I times single X offs is equal to pause. Solve for I gives us this. Then we can say if single we just say like pad is always at the end. If we are in pad, we did not click something. We are not on an object. Okay. So what's like the easiest thing to do to test this? I guess we can change our like selected metric to be whether or not we are hovered. So what we can do is we can pass in the mouse position in pixel space, convert that mouse position to drawer space, and then see if the hover works correctly. I think that's the easiest way to test this. Mouse, window, pix. Yeah, something like this. And then we can be like mouse drawer x is equal to mouse window x minus left over right minus left over drawer width. Probably this needs to be floating point, and this needs to be like as F32 float from it here. Probably, I don't know, man. Okay. Mouse drawer y is the mouse window y minus bottom over drawer height f. And then we can say that selected is thumbnail, what do we call this shit? Drawer pause the thumbnail index. Given our drawer, mouse drawer X, mouse drawer Y, and the, what was the other inputs here? Drawer width and drawer height. If this is equal to Ri, then 1, otherwise 0. Okay. Then in appzig, we have input state the mouse pause in object chords. Ugh, gross. So if we're logging the mouse position, oh, I just drooled, gross, on camera. That's sick, man, love that. Okay, so I guess for now, we'll just also just log the mouse pause window. That's fine. I don't really give a shit right now. Okay, so set mouse pause. I guess this probably just comes in object coordinates. Yeah. Set mouse pause win. We're getting a little hacky right now. Mouse pause window is like X pause and Y pause. Is that actually what we want? Is it in window space? I think it is. Which means that when we render, here we can just call like self window input state window mouse pause window and mouse pause window 1, which means that this thing is taking in floats here, actually, surprisingly. And then that means that, like, this calculation needs to be kind of more like mouse window x minus this casting shit on left. Okay, yep. Y bottom. Okay. I feel like that's right. Let's print the mouse position. Mouse drawer pause. Mouse drawer X and mouse drawer Y. Okay, let's just kind of start there. And we'll come back to the rest. Member function expected 9 arguments found 7 because I didn't save app. Classic. Int from float here is mad at 145. Why? What the fuck? Expected integer type found F32. Oh, oops. Float command, not int from float. Oopsies, we had it backwards. IF at 94 is mad because found F32. Oh, int from float, my bad. Okay, so here, if I go in here, we see the mouse drawer pause down here is 0.3, which is bad, and to 0.2. So we're kind of off on height, but the width looks pretty good. If I cover the right side here, we're getting position 1.0 almost. So the X position is fine. The Y position is fucked. So Y. Probably because we have to invert Y. Probably. So here we probably have like the mouse window Y is like a really big number, but the drawer position is like relative to the bottom. So we probably want to do like, do we have like the window height in here? How do we get like the drawer position here? We have left and bottom. So we probably just want to do, okay, we're going to cheat here. We're going to do self input state window view state window height minus this. I think that fixes it. And then this needs to be like as F32 float from int. And we're going to put like a mega fix me on here. Fix me mouse chords, what the fuck. But I think that should at least like give us the right answer. So now we have 0, 0 in the bottom left, 1, 1 in the top right, and when I hover this, nothing fucking happens. God damn. But now we can actually start debugging this, because now at least our mouse positions are correct. So what are we gonna do here? Let's think. I guess it is this selected calculation. Let's std debug print if is this number. This is the easy fix, and then here we'll say std debug print returning y out of bounds. Okay, and I guess we'll log the bottom left, top right, and the pause. BL top right pause. Okay. Seems reasonable. Fuck. Fine. This guy's such a whiner, this guy. Little bitch. All right. So here we're seeing that the IF is like super wrong. Right here it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and instead we're getting like really, really small numbers. So why? Pause 0 minus left, pause 0 minus left, divided by single x offset. Hello? I guess we'll just kind of slap this in here as well. Bottom left, pause, single x offs, bottom left, pause, single x offs. What am I doing wrong? It feels right to me. Like the math lined up. Okay, so here we have bottom left is negative 9.5 negative 9.75. Now, if I look at my mouse position here, so it's supposed to be negative 0.95. So I'm trying to get to like 9.5 E1 here, which is the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, sorry, negative. So here we're at 0. Oh, it's because we're going 0 to 1, not negative 1 to 1. Is that what we want? I guess we do need to go to like clip space of the, it makes more sense that way. So we should go negative 1 to 1. So our mouse X pause, we need these to be like times 2 minus 1. I think. I think. If we're trying to get negative 1 to 1, that sounds right to me. But you never know. Okay, so this would be negative 1, which we are kind of seeing down there. And this should be 1, 1 up here. Okay. And now we are getting IF scaling is still fucked. But now at least our position seems right. So if we hold the left side of this, we get negative 9.5 E1 or like 9.75 E1 on both, which seems kind of correct to me. The Y position seems fine. And then our single X offset is like mega big. Single X offset's like 7. That's fucking wrong. So this is 0.1. This is height ratio times aspect ratio times 2. Is this supposed to be divided by time? Yeah, okay. So maybe this is supposed to be divided here and I fucked up. Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so now we're getting IF is 0. Like here we're getting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So like now the kind of where my mouse is, I think is correct in terms of index, but now feels wrong in terms of if it's selected. So what's going on there? If drawer to thumbnail pause index, can we return here mod IF? Do I understand what this does? Modulus division for unsigned integers is the same as numerator percent denominator. For a function, otherwise I assume that for floating point it does what I expect it to do. But it's, oh, this should be 1.0, not offset. I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass. Okay, this is still not doing what I want. So what do I want? I kind of want like int from float IF. Kind of like this, right? We want like if IF is less than 0, we have a fucking problem, so we return null. Otherwise, we have some I, and we can go like const. Is there like an extract decimal component of this thing? Is that easier? Zig extract decimal component of float. In C. Okay. What about? No, that's fine. We can just do it this way. We can do like if minus float from int I, right? Just cast it back. Like this. And then here we can say like if decimal is greater than thumbnail pad. Oh, that's wrong. This should be is greater than 1.0 minus thumbnail pad. That makes more sense. And then here we return I. I think that's right. So we like take the integer part, we subtract it from where we're at. Oh yeah, tell me that isn't good. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now we just need to make it so that when we click, it switches the selected object. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, okay. So let's get rid of this like spam print. So what? For now, we just like make it part of the render function, I guess, where we like say, maybe we return an optional object ID, right? And this will be like, if it's selected, ret is equal to ID, right? We say var ret is a obj mod object ID equals null. And then we return ret at the bottom here, right? Then in app, render drawer renderer. This is like not where this belongs, by the way. I understand that. But we can say const hovered obj is equal to this. If hovered obj, but more importantly, if the mouse is, I guess we'll just say that the self input state drawer. Can we like have like the drawer obj? This is fine for now. Fix me like proper abstraction, etc. should not be raw in input state like this. It's fine though. We'll come back to it. We'll say that the drawer object is the hovered object, right? And then on mouse click, we can say, if the drawer, if we have like the drawer open, and the drawer obj, I guess we can kind of just say like, yeah, object drawer open and self drawer obj is not equal to null. We say like, we have an input action now that's like set the selected object, which I don't think existed before. Select object at object ID like this, and then here we're like, return select object at self drawer object like this. Boom, boom. Oh, dude, it's all coming together. Handle input action. Select object. Obj. We'll call this ID, and we just say self input state. Select object with ID and self objects. Do you guys think this is gonna work? That'd be so fucking sick. So we open the drawer. Oh, come the fuck on, man. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so now can we get rid of, we can just like literally get rid of the object list here. We don't need that pane anymore. And now we can like, let's try to just like dog food it just a little bit. And let's see what happens if we try to like make our little thumbnail avatar. So here we go in here and we're like, oh, this is already, this isn't good. This is not good at all. Oh, also it's not good that when I click on these, it draws stuff. Okay, but let's, okay, we'll create a drawing. We now select the drawing, and this drawing now comes from, I feel like this isn't working, actually. I feel like, we have to, in the input state, we have to let the drawer win. If we have like a drawer action as well as like another mouse action, this needs to happen fucking first. Okay. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so now we can like set the background color, the drawing. We're gonna need to like quickly throw some shit on here. So we're gonna be like, let's make a little avatar guy. It's probably easier if we draw him on top of a circle that we've already cropped. So can we actually make a circle shader here? And here, this thing should default with a radius like this, so that's easy to identify in here. But we'll start with a little black circle, and then we'll create a drawing on top of this thing. I think that we need to probably render an icon of which type each of these things are for this case. But we'll get to that later. We'll draw a little width up. We'll set the color of this to like this, and then cool. So this is starting to look pretty good. Can we go to like this and delete it, and this and delete it? Oh yeah, dude, that's so nice. That's actually so good. Okay, so then we want to like create a composition, and this I guess before we do this composition, actually, we're gonna want to add another circle for the little background halo. So here we can kind of like, oh, we can even like kind of size him like this, which is kind of nice. I mean, this isn't ideal. Ideally, we would be able to do this while looking at a composition, but that's fine. So in the composition, we add, it would be nice if we could like drag these things in, right? But we can't do that yet. So here we're gonna have to kind of eyeball it. This is not great, but the order we add these things in is also important. But this is getting kind of nice. And then here, if we wanted to like position this thing within there, we would have to do this, which means that we would have to like implement some sort of scrolling here, right? Because it's kind of hard to, we can't get here anymore. But we can if we do this, right? So that's not bad. I mean, I understand that it's kind of shit in a lot of ways, right? But it's pretty close. Like, I think that navigating this is like a million times easier than navigating what was just like the object list before. This is so easy. Like, you look at this and you know exactly what each thing is. We just need to fix like how to deduplicate things, right? So like here we should probably render on top like some sort of like code icon, right? If this looked like this, where we had like the object type shown here, and so here we had like a little bit of like a you know, like a, what's like a code icon, like a file with like some like text in it, right? And then on here we had like the pen, maybe like, you know, something like this to indicate that this is like a drawing, right? And then this is also like a shader, right? So we have like whatever paper, and then this is like a composition. So maybe here, I don't really know how we would show composition, but like maybe like a you could draw like triangle, circle, square, or something to show that this is like a thing that has many things in it. And then here, this is also triangle, circle, square, or whatever, right? I think with that, it now like becomes very, very clear what each thing is. Will Svimp replace color? Eventually, yeah. We need to do undo and erasing of strokes. But after that, yeah, I think that I will use it over this. But like you can see how like that would be pretty good, right? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously improvements need to be made, but that's a really good initial attempt. So I think we call it there for today. We're at 4:10, which is about when we want to end. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was entertaining. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4 o'clock Pacific time now. So what does that mean? It means something. Right, so that means that if you want to watch us live, and you're watching live today, it's anywhere between like 3.5 hours ago and now is when you should expect to see us live. If you're watching live and you want to catch like VODs, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description, where we have all of our projects organized by playlist. Right now, we're kind of ping-ponging between font rendering and image manipulation, but there's a lot of other stuff back here if you want to check it out. QR code decoder, like a video editor, like a operating system, GPU implementation in a virtual machine. There's all sorts of shit if you want to check it out. If you're watching on YouTube and you're watching and you're thinking, hey, you said that there's a 4-hour live stream, but this video is only 2 hours. That's because we have a happy hour segment and a regular segment. The happy hour segment is kind of like 12:30 to 2, and it's like, if we were to commit what we did today, future us would be like, you suck ass. Fuck you, right? Instead, we need to do a lot of cleanup and testing and like improve all of these like little edge cases and stuff. So that's kind of what like happy hour is about, is trying to do small tasks, not worth their own video, but like cleanup, research, just like minor cleanup. Today we were working on like, we added this delete button, right? Because it was like, it's nice to be able to delete stuff. It's not worth its own stream, but now I can go in here and we can spam delete, and like that's pretty sick. So if you want to see those, you can either catch us live or check out the Patreon or YouTube member section. And I think that's all the plugging that we have to do. Let's say goodbye to YouTube and Twitch. Let's find someone to raid.